everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. So today I thought that I would do a little bit of a different video. So I'm going to basically just do kind of like a spend the week with me making Christmas presents for people. I've got a couple of ideas of what I want to make. I've got two projects currently on the go, which are cat sweaters. I think I possibly want to make some sort of Stardew Valley inspired project. I don't know what yet. I'm thinking of maybe like a bag or maybe a hat or something. I don't know. It's just I definitely want to do something Stardew Valley inspired for my sister because we both really love the game and it's kind of something we have connected and bonded over in the past few years. So I really want to make something inspired by that, and because it's like obviously like a pixelated style game, a cross stitch pattern would work quite well, like a grid design but it's cross stitch. I think that would be really cool. I also just spent like the rest of this morning cleaning my room and my desk. It was just like too overwhelming. I feel like I say this in every single video where I tidy up and organise stuff, is that I just let it build and build and build, and then it gets too overwhelming and I literally can't move around my room because there's just stuff everywhere. So I've had a clean and a tidy up and I've polished everything so it's smelling good, and I've got candles lit and everything is just nice and cozy now, and I feel a lot less kind of anxious, I guess. I'm not really someone who likes to be super tidy. I don't really like to put a lot of pressure on myself to have everything neat and tidy all the time, but I'm just someone who lets things build and build and build, and then it gets to the point where I feel like I can't function very well in that space. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling and I'm just going to get on with my next cat sweater, which I'm basically going to do like a scrap yarn project for it. I've already kind of worked out the pattern. I already made a pink one, which I'll show. So I'm just going to basically make the same one again but in a green, and it's going to be like a scrap yarn project. I've got a bunch of green yarn, so yeah, just sit back and relax and I hope that you enjoy the video. Okay, so it's now Friday. I spent kind of this week kind of coming back to the cat sweaters. Didn't really film like in a very linear way, so I think I finished the pink sweater kind of at the beginning of the week, which I showed you, and then I finished the green sweater last night. So this is what it's looking like. I ran out of the white yarn, so I've just kept the white kind of collar part white, and then the rest of it, the little armholes and the hem is like this minty lime green colour. But I really like how it came out. It's like a nice kind of mismatched scrap yarn project. So now that I've finished them, I'm now going to be moving on to my sister's gift, which I've now decided what I'm doing. I'm going to be doing a Stardew Valley inspired bag. I'm going to be using this kind of chunky pink yarn, and then I've already made the graph design, which I've decided to cross stitch on. I don't particularly like to do the traditional pixel crochet method where you simply just single crochet or half double crochet the design into the work. And then this is the design that I kind of came up with actually on Stitch Fiddle. So I basically just inserted the image that I put together on Canva, and then placed it into Stitch Fiddle with the graph kind of amount that I want. So I've done roughly 61 stitches for the longest like length of the graph, and then 50 stitches along the bottom as the width of the graph. And once I inserted the image into the graph, I then just changed up the colours and changed up the design a little bit to make it a little bit more polished. And I did kind of change up the love heart speech bubble type thing. It doesn't traditionally have that wider bubble. I just added that because I think it fitted well with the proportions. And although I have done a pretty basic love heart for the cross stitch design, I'm actually planning on doing like a black outline. I just haven't included that. I don't think it was possible to include like stitched outlines on Stitch Fiddle, so that's just kind of like a note that I'm making to do once everything's finished, is to just do like a little black outline around everything just to make it a little bit more polished. So I'm basically just going to make a solid panel of the same measurements on this graph. So I'm going to chain up the height of the bag first, so that was 61, and then I'm going to single crochet across the width, so that was 50 stitches I believe, yeah. And I'm going to keep it nice and neat, so I'm not going to chain one, turn the work, I'm just going to simply turn the work. That's just a stylistic choice that I like to do because it keeps your edges neat, and it also keeps the graph a little bit more in line with each other, if that makes sense. I would definitely say that if you are stuck for ideas and you know that someone likes a particular like game or character, or you know, just like even things like Miffy or Moomin, stuff like that, you can simply just do like a really basic tote bag design, just 2 square panels, chaining up the length and then crocheting across the width, and then you can just cross stitch the design on using your graph that you've made. I do have some tutorials as well on how to cross stitch on crochet as well, so I'll link that down below. So this is the yarn that I'm going to be using. This is from B&M. It's just the like chunky acrylic yarn, and they've got like small flecks of a darker pink in it, so I think that this is going to be really nice to tie in with the cow design. So I'm basically just going to do that big panel that I was talking about. I'm going to chain up 61 plus 1 for the turning chain, and then do 50 rows of single crochet, so nice and simple. It's got so dark so quick, but it's been a couple of hours, and then I had to keep adjusting my work because I didn't feel that I was going to have enough yarn to complete the project with the size of the graph that I'd made. So I think the graph was like 60 by 50 stitches or something like that, and I've reduced it down to 40 stitches in height and then 41 stitches across, I think. 42 stitches across, so I think that this is going to be a little bit better, and in my head it's either going to come out like a perfect square, or it's going to be more of a shopper bag where it's slightly wider than the height, which I'm completely fine with anyway. So I'm still carrying on basically with the exact same thing. This is how much I've done so far, not as much as I wanted to get done, but it was just because I kept undoing it and readjusting the graph, but now I'm back on track. This is the size we're making, and yeah, it's all good. So carrying on now, and yeah, it's got dark, so I've had to put my lights on, so sorry about the awful lighting. And I think I'm gonna go and get myself a cup of tea as well because I haven't had one for a few hours. So I've just done both of my panels. This is what they're looking like, just plain squares, and now I'm going to do the cross stitch design. I've got a bunch of colours, so I've got this kind of sandy brown colour for the shadows and some of the highlights on the cow, and then I've got this orangey colour. It's kind of like a brown burnt orange. It's not like super orange, it's coming up orange on the camera, but it's actually more of a an orange brown, and that's for like the main part of the cow. I hope I've got enough yarn for this design. And then for the outlines and the spots of the cow, I've got this dark brown, and then I've got some red for the love heart, and then black for any outlines that I'm going to do. A little bit of white for the speech bubble, and then I've also got some baby pink for the cow nose. Okay, so it's now a couple of days later. I feel like I haven't been that organised with like the flow of how I wanted this bag to go. Like I just have been doing little bits on and off because I just like been feeling a bit under the weather. But since I last updated you, I had basically made the graph and started off the panels and finished the panels. But I decided to change the panel width because it fit a lot better with the new like measurements. So I've basically got a graph of 40 in height, 40 stitches, and then I'm doing 51 rows instead. And I've now started the cross stitch part, so I've completely finished the love heart speech bubble, and now I'm working on the cow. I'm just like basically filling in the spaces for the cow. I also just noticed something really annoying when I watched that video back. You can't really even see the difference between these two colours. Like I think that they're too similar. Obviously this warmer one is going to be the main part of the cow, and then the darker one is the outline and the spots, but together they kind of just blend into one. I think I'm going to switch to this one. It's a little bit lighter and it's actually going to create a bit more contrast, and then I'll stick with this one for the shadow. Focus, there we go. Annoying, but I'd rather undo it now than undo it right at the end and just restart. Okay, I've finally finished the pixel design with cross stitch, and I cleaned up all the edges just with a back stitch with a single piece of yarn rather than doubling it up. So this is what it's looking like. I'm really happy with it. So now I'm just going to attach the panels together. I'm going to basically put the panels together right side on the outside, and then I'm going to slip stitch the inside loops together because I tried that before and it had a really nice effect. So I've got this white yarn and it has like these specks of like multicoloured pieces in, so I thought that that would be quite nice. So I'm just going to do that now, and then after that the bag strap, and then that's pretty much the bag all done. Well guys, that is everything from me today. I hope you all enjoyed this vlog and found it nice and cozy and relaxing. I also hope that you had some inspo for crochet ideas and your Christmas projects. Don't forget to subscribe because it really helps the channel out, and like this video as well, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.